150 years ago, this country was involved in the greatest tragedy probably that we've ever occurred. The Great Civil War raged. One of the major battles was the Battle of Gettysburg, and that was in July 1st to 3rd in 1863. This battle involved the largest number of casualties of the entire war and is often described as the war's turning point. There were somewhere between 46,000 and 51,000 soldiers from both sides were casualties in this three-day war. 1,250 Confederates took a charge against the Union line on Cemetery Ridge known as Pickett's Charge. It was repulsed by the Union rifle and artillery with great losses, and Lee led his army back to Virginia. But on November 19th, President Lincoln used the dedication ceremony for the Gettysburg Address, which he probably learned in school. He did mention, however, that probably no one would ever recall the words he said, but obviously he's mistaken. It's on his monument in Washington, D.C., if anybody's been there to see it at Lincoln Memorial. It takes about 2 minutes to read this, and I'm going to do this as quickly as I can. We know President Lincoln wasn't a Rotarian, but he probably would have been a doggone good one, because he had a great deal of thought for other people. And he started out 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. He said, now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, and we cannot hollow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what we did here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who have fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that those honored dead we take increased devotion to the causes for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from this earth. That is the Gettysburg Address.